I'm back continuing to work on this Azure function project. I've already been coding on it for a while, and I figured I should probably just start streaming what I'm doing since somebody might be interested in it. I thought I was going to be doing a lot more researching than actual coding at first, so that's why I kind of ended up going in. But where we left off with this is that I had some PowerShell to actually manage the subscriptions, to add subscriptions and remove them. And ultimately, I want this to be automated, and I would like it to be source controlled so that I can update a JSON file and it will manage the new subscription addition and removing subscriptions that are no longer valid, and also be able to manage the automated resubscribing, which needs to be done every 10 days at least, and if not more often. So I started writing some of the function code for this um, in C Sharp, and I'll just go through what it always makes me happy to see the notification that the tweet went out for this live stream starting, so that's fun. Um, Anyways, so where I've started on this, I'll close this out so it's got some more screen real estate to deal with. Uh, First of all, I went ahead and created some folders because it's starting to get a little, um, there's a lot of files and it's starting to get a little unruly to have them uh, not uh, grouped together. So I created a functions folder, moved all the functions in there. Um, Models folder already existed, but I did clean out the models that I wasn't using, um, and only just kept the models that I was, and you'll see that I added a few more. And then I created a utilities folder because I'm also having some additional utilities I'm having to create to be shared between all these functions. So to start out with, uh, I started with creating this Twitch subscription function, and right now it's just stubbed out, so it's not doing any actual work. But what its goal is to basically take in a JSON um, that has a list of subscriptions and to see if they need to be added or removed and that perform those actions. So to do that, we're taking in a iList of Twitch subscriptions, which is a new model I created. Uh, we also have some output bindings here. I'm taking in an iasync collector of Twitch subscriptions. I'm doing full async on this one, or at least trying to. Um, Mostly so I can get more familiar with using async, and mostly because it's also best practice. And I kind of broke a lot of that in my other functions, but uh, iasync collector um, is the same as the iCollector, only it allows for asynchronous addition to the list. And there's two queues: Twitch subscribe and Twitch unsubscribe. So those queues will have subscription messages, and unsubscription messages will just be a collection of this Twitch subscription type. And what'll happen then is there'll be two more functions. One is a subscribe function, one's an unsubscribe function, and they'll be responsible for sending out the taking care of subscribing and unsubscribing. So they'll be true queue triggers from that. Also taking in the log option object so I can log, but really not doing anything in here yet because I needed to basically build out a whole bunch of stuff. I was originally like, well, I can set up on this things I need to actually start the Twitch thing, but I'm gonna need to make calls to the Twitch API in all three of these functions. So in this function, um, I need to make an API call to get my current subscriptions, and then in the subscribe and unsubscribe, I need to make calls to the API to subscribe and unsubscribe. Uh, and this kind of model for this, instead of doing it all in one monolithic thing, helps me do a couple of things. For one, I can go out of band and add something directly into the subscription queue or unsubscribe queue and kind of bypass this entire process and forcibly subscribe and unsubscribe somebody. So that could be used in some other out of band process. Um, and then it's also just, the good serverless design philosophy is to have these functions be very small and do like very um, atomic operations, uh, and to talk between them with queues. So just trying to follow some best practice guidance on that. The So the other things that I had created, so like I said, there's this Twitch subscription type in here. So that's a new model I created. Um, and it's a very simple model. It just has the Twitch name and the Twitter name. Um, so it's not very impressive what's in it, but just need it to make it easy to work with, and basically to convert the JSON that comes in into some kind of usable .NET type. The other thing that I created is this Twitch OAuth response. Um, so this is just like the OAuth response that you get back from the Twitch API when you get an OAuth token. It's has access token, refresh token, expires in scope, and token type. So I just created this model so I can also work pretty easily with the JSON response there. So that's being used in the next thing that I added, which is this Twitch client class. So the idea for this is that this is primarily an HTTP client wrapper with some stuff. So kind of following some normal practices here on this. I'm having to, do a static HTTP client, which is best practice. You're only supposed to create one HTTP client and reuse it for as much as possible. We'll see how well this works, but I'm hoping that I can figure this out and it's not too difficult. The client ID, client secret, and client redirect URI, I'm getting in from application settings, so I'll be adding some new secrets to handle that in the app settings. The Twitch base URI for the OAuth, Twitch OAuth base URI, it's a constant, and the OAuth client credential grant type is another constant, and I just don't like reusing strings over and over again, because every time you like define a string in here, it's creates another immutable object that has to go through the collector and be cleaned up. Whereas if you do a nice constant on these, it's a little bit cleaner inside the actual code. So what I was starting to do is to create this get OAuth response method, and basically I'm doing a side-by-side with the PowerShell code that I created to register subscriptions. And just kind of copying from what I did in there. Twitch app I don't need because I've got these strings, so I can just repeat those. So this is the Twitch OAuth get Twitch OAuth token function that I wrote in PowerShell, and it's basically what I need to do in this get OAuth response method over here, and it's going to return an OAuth response type, which is from that model that I showed. But I need to do some code to actually go out that, and one of the things that PowerShell does nicely is it converts the a body object, which is a uh, hash table, it converts it into the URL encoded request uh, body. So um, since I like that code, I have to basically use it. I'm going to pilfer it from the PowerShell project. So if I go into source and command utility, web commandlet, common, HTTP request PS commandlet, I believe is where this is at. And if I look in here for, it's been a while, I'm trying to think of what piece it's in. I guess I can search for body. It gets used a ton down here. And yeah, for creating web request process body, if content is a dictionary, let's get so it's doing some URI building there. So this is what happens if it's a get, but I need the one for post. We'll get there. Format dictionary. Actually, this is probably the right piece here. The content is form object. Content is dictionary and request method is not get. So this is the one here. So set request content is the function, and it's a dictionary type. So I don't think that this is actually defined in here. I think it's defined in one of the other files. Nope, it's in here. So this one's the one for byte. I can probably search for these and find them. String, XML node, stream, multipart, iDictionary. All right, so it's just doing format dictionary. Yeah. So I can actually just use that again. So I can basically borrow this format dictionary code, add it in here to my code. Move this over here for now. Come down here. Private string format dictionary, iDictionary. Private static string, yeah. So everything's static in this class. There's no thises or anything like that. String builder, I'll add that in there. For each key and content key that's on the web utility URL encode. All right, so I need a good URL encode function. So you shouldn't use the one on URI. That's bad. The one on URI is really old. It's a really old API. It's before a lot of modern standards, and it breaks on a lot of things and does a lot of unexpected stuff. And then there was one in like system.web, which is not available in .NET Core. Oh, I'm still on the Firefox. Um, so can't use that. Let me see what we're using inside web utility URL encode. This is something that in the PowerShell project we're using. And, common. It's probably in just search for web utility quicker. No, maybe I spelled it wrong. Yes, I did. System.net.webutility. Aha. Awesome. Okay, so that's what we're using. It's not anything special. Switch back over here. Should just give me a using system.net. Yep. All right. So yeah, all this does is basically create a URL encoded string from a dictionary. It makes it a little bit easier to set the content of what you're expecting instead of like doing this directly in here. So another thing that I need to probably pilfer from the PowerShell project is how we're doing the setting the content. Just save me some time from looking it up. I think I could just do HTTP string content, I think is the type. But go back to where it was, search for body. All right, search for this again. Validation code. Let's see, format dictionary. This is format dictionary inside the code. Yeah, content equal body. Content, so what do we do with this content? So we're doing set request content, and we send the content object in, which is of what type? It's just an object. And then request content equals no. Well, what's the content dot headers? Is redirect. Should retry. This is where we create the HTTP request message. And then it's called request. We're not setting the body on it. Like, I forget how that's done. Been away from this code base for a while, and I'm like, stumbling through it. And it hasn't changed at all. The client send, request is something we take in up here. So get response, let me find where we're doing that. That call will make sense. It's probably coming from the actual like using HTTP request, get request URI, fill stream, request content headers, content value, request method, content line array, response equals. Where do we set the body? I totally forget where we're setting the body on this. I might have to actually like open up the code base to do that. That'll be rough to do. But I think I can do something like this. Content equals new HTTP string content, new string content. String content is on. Yeah. Pretty sure that's all I need to do, and I need to pass in a body here. I can probably set a read-only dictionary on this up here and do the I could probably also just make this a let's do that instead, because I'm going to be sending, it's the same string content every single time. It doesn't change that I need to send. So I can do some things like private read only, dictionary. No, don't autocomplete for me. I know what I'm doing. This is OAuth request dictionary. So I need to add that in and do new dictionary string. So if I remember correctly, the formatting for these is weird, at least compared to PowerShell. Private static private. Yeah. Request is spelled wrong. We'll get there. All right. So the way this works is it's like this value, key value, and then that's a comma separated list of these. So the names on, oh man, I'm not even on the, there we go, that's better. So the names on these I can steal from over here in the, let's drag this client ID, secret, and grant type. Client secret, client secret, and then grant type. And that is OAuth credential grant type. Oh, what the? All right, so that's how you define this dictionary. Now I can also do a static private read-only string, and this is OAuth client credential request body. I actually can't do a string content for this because string contents are streams and they have to be consumed, so I can't just create that there. So I need to create the string and then add it to the stream, and the stream will be works. So and this would be format dictionary. And OAuth request dictionary. So I should be able to do this. Okay. So down the rabbit hole. But so what I did is I've created a dictionary that's got the basic things here, and then it's a read-only dictionary. I can probably do read-only dictionary on this. It's a type, right? Try read-only dictionary. There's like a read-only dictionary type, but yeah, using system collection object model and change this. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just use dictionary. It's fine. I don't care. I don't care to spend too much time figuring out how that API works. It's been a while since I've worked with the read-only collections, and they're slightly weird. Um, anyway, so I create this dictionary, and then I create another static string called client request body, and it's uses format dictionary on that string. So I might need this functionality otherwise, but what I could have done is probably done this as a read-only string using the interpolation of the values above and just dealt with it. But I think this is just a little bit easier for me to follow, at least that I've got a couple of different, so I know what this looks like, basically. All right, so content, headers. This doesn't require any headers, but method it does need, and this should be request dot method or request method. All one request web request methods dot no. So what is method? HTTP request method. Okay. No, that's what it said, right? Like, oh no. HTTP method is the type. Dot posts. What else needs to go over to that? Yeah, so basically the URI, do I set the URI inside the HTTP request method? It's been a while. Request URI, I do. And this is the base URI, which I probably should do as a URI because it wants a URI. Yeah, that doesn't work. I'll just leave that as a string and then create the URI down here. All right, so the content, the method, and the request. So that piece is done. Var response equal wait. This is client dot send async. Yeah. Message. And then var response body equals response dot content dot read as string async. I'll wait on that as well. And then we can do some JSON conversion here. So JSON convert dot add my using statement. So this is our result. I'm gonna end up like not doing it this way, but I'll do this for now just so I've got squigglies to deserialize. I'm pretty sure that there's like, is it really deserialize object? That's not right. It should be like just deserialize and then a type and then all that. Let me look and see what I did in the other one. I always been so rusty on my C# because I haven't done much in months. I miss it though. I do love C#. It's in the webhook ingestion is where I do some manual stuff. So let me through the server, make that hide again. Yeah, it is deserialize object. Okay, I'm just forgetting. Handler, readme, closing out some of these, so it's a little easier to. There we go. Deserialize object, and then the type, which is a Twitch OAuth with response of response body. Right, so we go off, we get this. I'm not doing any error handling here at the moment, so I'll need to do that. But I like to get the bones in place before I put the other stuff. All right, so on response dot so there's a wait thing that you can pass to make sure that it's been completely done, but I'm just going to do some very simple, like if I don't want to actually deal with the so So throwing exceptions from a async is kind of a weird thing to do. I should probably take in the logger on this and require to pass the logger through to these static functions so that it can log as well. Yeah, I don't feel like dealing with the exceptions on this, so I'm just going to return an empty. If not, response is status code, that should be a bool. Yep. Return. There's some other option in here. Yeah, HTTP completion option. Yeah, response content read. I'm just gonna go ahead and do the full shebang. I don't see why. I guess I can do headers read. That should be fine. Because I'm calling off on this, it should wait for that to be ready. So that should be fine. New. I'm just going to return null. And then just to be yeah. So if so this will return null if the response is bad. You see how much work the remove the object model. Sorry, I just saw Simon's message in the sea of things. There's no time on that I can see, so remove the object model using to, right, from, yeah, because I'm not doing the read-only collection, so I can remove that. Usually, like, I go through here, and then at the end, you can usually, like, go to the last using statement, and there should be a light bulb that shows up that says remove unused. So I usually clean up at the end before I do that. Thanks, Simon, though. I appreciate the help there, even though it's a little late in seeing it. Wish there was like text notification for when chats came in that didn't, or ding or something that didn't show up on the live stream. I'll have to look into that. So, all right, so this is one one of these taken care of. So get Twitch user, I still need that. So what we need to do my thing here is just returning the data on that. And what does that look like? Oh, no, go away. So a little space to work with. Get Twitter user or Twitch user. I probably need to create a user model because there wasn't a user model in the library that I borrowed from. So I might have to create one, but where am I using that at? In the I use it to basically translate a username into their user ID. Yeah, and all I care about is the ID. So I'm gonna change that up and create something that you give it the stream name and it gives you the ID. So I need to return a string. I still need to create some object models to make it easier, but we'll start with just this takes in a string called stream name. That's the or Twitch name is what I'm using inside this project and not in the PowerShell code. All right, so I like to just stub out my responses to have something actually going back just so the squigglies disappear so I'm not distracted by something else. This one is like complaining about that I don't have any awaits inside the asynchronous task, but I definitely will, so I'm not gonna be too distracted by that one. At least it's not a red squiggly. So I need to get the user data model, so I'm gonna have to go in here and create a new model. And there's also a Twitch user data. This can actually mimic much of what's in the stream data, only I'm going to modify the thing here to be user data, and this is going to be a Twitch user, which hasn't been defined yet, so it's going to complain. That's fine. So like their response comes in a format where they have data, and then inside the data there is that. So if I look at the documentation for their get users thing, so it looks like this. There's a data member on the object, and then in that it is an array of users, or a single user, but That's fine. So I need to have both the outer um, object and then an inner object that uh, sorry, I was getting some notifications here. Need to address them. Okay. Um, so I need the outer object which has the data member, and then I need the inner objects in that array which has all of these properties on it. So um, similar to what was done with the other one, but the other thing that I need to do on this is change the this is my own code. I could probably look and see if there's a project that's already done some of these, but it's quite all right. All right, so I've got my user data there, my user. Now I just need to populate this with the so this is a Twitch user. Now I need to actually update this with the information from the site. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this over and then deal with it in the source code, so I'm not having to go back and forth between those. Mm, so I've got an ID. That's a string. And that's the one that I really care about. I could just leave it at that, but I'm going to go ahead and update the rest on these. Log in. Display name. How to copy paste your way to success. That's weird. Display name, type. Wonder what a user type is. Staff? That's cool. I guess like maybe they have things for affiliate and stuff. If I knew what those are, I could probably be really fancy and create this as an enum, and it would automatically pick the right one, but I don't feel like being fancy on that. Broadcaster type is the next one. Try actually typing broadcaster. Woohoo! I didn't screw it up. All right, next one is description. description, profile image URL. And the other one's offline image URL. I'm gonna leave these as strings. The other one is offline image URL. Yep. Should be lowercase d in the JSON description. Yes, should be. Thank you. Good catch. There's some thing on here you can have it like, I can never remember. You can make it to where it's case insensitive in the in its parsing of the JSON object. But view count. Now I wonder, does anybody get like beyond int max there? I wonder what to use. I should probably just use int64. For view count. Just in case somebody has some insane numbers of views or something like that. Is that not? What's the I thought the type was int64. Am I wrong? Is it not a? Oh, using system. That helps. All right. And email is the last one. String. Which should be blank for everyone except me, because it doesn't give you the user's email address unless you're logged in as that user or if they've authorized your application to read their information. But I will, I don't need the example, I just need email. All right, so that's the Twitch user. The Twitch user data is just a IList collection of the Twitch users. So now I can properly translate this back from the Twitch client thing that I'm working on here. So it was a lot of work just to be able to parse response data. And I could do some kind of like anonymous object and not worry about it, but I want to be able to access things a little easier. So I need some of the same code up here. So var message. So the get Twitch user has this endpoint, so I need a new constant up here. So this this is a Twitch users endpoint. URI. It's not really a URI, but use that anyways. Go back down into here, into this one. The should be no content on this one. It should just be. I actually need to update the URI on this one. I should probably do a URI builder because I need to add some query elements to it. I think I'm going to do this the lazy way and just do string interpolation. So URI and then over here it's a login equal. So it's a very simple. And I should probably sanitize this with web utility dot URL encode Twitch name. All right. I can put this down here. I don't need to do this out here. I thought I was going to do some like string building and stuff like that, but I decided to be lazy about how I construct this URI. So I could just do this down in here and not have a separate variable for it. I don't need content on this one because I'm not sending anything. Method is get instead of post on this. But I do need to send some headers. So over here, I send a client ID header with the client ID. And headers takes a what? It is a request headers. Ugh. Is it request headers? Yes. Down here. Oh, it doesn't, does it? All right. Well, why isn't it showing me the various options? Man, I cannot remember how headers are set, so I'm gonna have to go and look at the documentation on this. Thanks for the host. Appreciate it. Response header stuff. There's request header stuff. I think I can probably just do it after the fact, create the request and then update the headers in it. Might be a little bit easier. But I think that you have to actually initialize it first before you can add to it. Maybe not. Request.headers. Yeah. I guess not. So it says var request and HTTP method in the request URI, and then it just starts adding to the headers on it. So try add without validation is what I'm going to use down here. So message dot headers dot triad without validation returns a bool. I'm going to just ignore that though. And it's weird, it takes an IEnumerable string, but I'm pretty sure I can just pass a string into it, it'd be fine. Client ID, which I should probably create as a constant as well. Hi, Chris K59. Okay, string. And this is client ID header name. I'm probably being overkill on all the constants here, but like these should be constants, whatever. I'm not being consistent on it. And this is the client ID. So I'm doing triad without validation because I don't like dealing with the entire RFC strictness of the headers that they do in the HTTP SystemNet HTTP library. So often they're opinionated in a way that's don't make sense in the real world. Like RFCs are all well and good, but in the real world of websites and web services, RFCs are a mere suggestion and not exactly strictly adhered to. So you'll find yourself shooting yourself in the foot if you try to do everything completely by the book. By RFC, you'll have endpoints refusing you because you're not formatting it in the way that they interpret the RFC. All right, so now I'm getting the, I need to grab the response by sending it. I'm going to do the same kind of thing here. Return null, and then do some processing on this. I need to do the response, though. I forgot to copy that piece, I guess. All right, so I get the response, I wait. If it's not successful, I return null. If not, I need to do some work here. So I'm not returning this yet. I need to var and this is going to be user data equals Twitch user data. Or do I just have it as user data? Did I not define that right? Let me look at my... Yeah. Twitch user data is what I want the actual name to be. So this is going to convert it into a Twitch user data. So this is what I actually need to return is the ID of the first on that. Return user data dot data dot. I think I need link to add get first or default in here. First or default. ID. Well, I'm really lazy, like, because that returns an enumerable, I don't want to try to do indexing into it. So first or default will return, like, if for whatever reason that was an empty array, it's going to return an empty user data, and then I can still access the ID off of it, so it'd be a blank string, which is the default, or null actually, because it's not set. So I think that's a little bit easier than going through a whole bunch of boilerplate code just to deal with the fact that that's an enumerable. So this is effectively closing out this function. So register Twitch webhook subscription. I need to be able to take in stream name, Twitter name. So hub secret is something else that I need to get. And that is already in one of them. So in my webhook ingestion, I have to get it up here as a, as a read only. I don't want to make this one accessible to other classes. I'd rather it only be like, I mean, you realize that it's a environment variable and pretty much anything in this could get it, but just for the sake of like not sharing secrets between pieces of code, I'm going to duplicate some code in here. Uh, so this so little real estate. This hash secret is what I was calling it. They call it hub secret in the other things, but I'm gonna keep calling it hash secret here. Um, Maybe hub secret makes sense, just because that's what the thing is gonna be. So I'm gonna have so much weirdness in this, but it's fine. Get stream user ID. So we're on to the next one. This is going to be a subscription. It's going to be a void, so I'm not going to do anything but private. Actually, this one's going to be public, as it needs to be accessed by the. So this one's going to be called by the other functions. Private static, and this is just going to be a void, but I could probably just do task. Let's say async task, and I need to take in a I need to name it. This is subscribe. Twitch stream webhook. And we need to take in a Twitch subscription. Call it subscription. So I need some of this same boilerplate code from here. There's a little more involved, I think, because I think that's you have to build a body and convert it to JSON. So I need a new model type for this. Yeah. Oh man, sorry. I have no clue how long I've been sitting on the browser. I get really bad about that. Yeah, so I need another data model for this So much work. This is why PowerShell like really excels at making some of this so much easier. I mean, this is still a lot of code in PowerShell to do that, but I mean, to do this effectively in C Sharp, you have to like create a model class and then create all the code to consume it and serialize it, deserialize it. It's like, ugh. Um, anyways, I'm going to take a quick break here and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay. So we need to make a foray into another um, type. So this is going to be a subscription So you already used Twitch subscription. Let's do that. So I'm trying to think of what to name this. Yeah. All right. Go into models, new file, Twitch, subscription, submission, request. I guess I could update the Twitch subscription model and just have other things on it. This is what I did in here. It should be fine. So I'm just gonna hub callback. Hub topic. Hub mode. Hub least seconds. Hub secrets. So I think even when I request a response back, it looks like this. Maybe not. Still debating whether or not I want to make this a separate model, and I think that I am. I'm going to do Twitch Hub subscription as the name of it. Get rid of these two from it. And then on here, get rid of these ones. There. because even what they send back is different than what you request, so I might as well just use a different model for it and be a little safe. Save that there. Go back to client. Alright, so what I'm working on here is this subscribe to Twitch stream webhook. So it's going to take in a Twitch subscription, which has a stream name and a Twitter name, or possibly a Twitter name. And we need to send some stuff. So I'm going to do a var hub subscription equal new Twitch hub subscription. Hub mode equal subscribe hub callback is an easy one to do. It's so I have another thing that I need to add here. I don't know if I already have this one defined somewhere. Let me see if it's defined anywhere outside of my No, I only have it defined inside of my PowerShell. So I'm going to define it up in here. It's a constant string. Really, this should be a environment variable, so I'm going to do it that way instead. Reason being is that it could change depending on if I was running this as on a different Azure endpoint or something like that. It might be something to do. So this is private static read only. I should just copy this. And rename it as Twitch webhook base URI. And grab that from here. I need to missing an H. Base URI. Alright, so we'll grab that from the app settings. The hub callback is going to be that and then Actually, it's not simple. Forgot that this one takes some logic. So what else do I have here? I have hub secret, which equals hub secret hub topic, which will be I need to create a new one for streams endpoint. Nope. Name symbol, users endpoint, and then rename this to Twitch streams endpoint. Did it not update this everywhere? That's stupid. Okay. So this one is going to be some fun stuff. It's Twitch streams. Just gonna copy this. Doesn't let you do completion inside of the string interpolation. Yeah, question mark user ID equal. And this one should be I need to do this up here. Await. Let's see. User ID equal. Nope. Var user ID equal await. Get Twitch stream user ID from subscription dot Twitch name. So if string dot is null or white space subscription dot Twitter name. So this subscription does not include a Twitter account with it. The callback URI for those is just the is it still complaining? It's just because it's not used. Yeah, that's fine. Back URI equal string dot just do interpolation. Twitch webhook base URI. And then subscription dot stream name. Well, let me have the Twitch name. That's what it's called. Else callback URI equals, it's the same thing, but with an extra of subscription.twitter name. This should not be that. Hub callback. All right. So mode topic, callback URI, mode least seconds. Comma hub least seconds equals I need to look at their documentation right quick, see if they take a integer on that or a string. I might have to update the model. So yeah, it takes an int. Update the model real quick. Least second should be int. So I'm always going to be subscribing for the max. There's no reason for me to do this. I should have this as a setting somewhere, but it only gets used here. Get some more screen real estate back. Okay, so this is actually post and the content of that is going to be a serialize. Is this Twitch? Oh no. It's because the URI is completely different on this. We'll deal with that in a second. So the body on this is going to be fun. So let's do think there is a JSON body on this that you can use when you've got the content. Nope. Maybe. Nope. Alright. We'll just do string content. What are my options for string content? Oh. It's like, why is it not giving me my constructors? Content, encoding, and media type. Yeah. I think I need to actually adjust that up here too. I'll go back later, but I do need to do var body equal JSON convert dot serialize object does that work? Non-generic method. Oh, so it's not. All right. Let me try that again just to see. Hub subscription. No. It's worth a shot. This should turn a string. Yeah. Body that encoding UTF-8, not 7, 8. And then media type is application. JSON. There we go. So this we create the object, then we serialize it to JSON, and then we submit it. Just looking over here, making sure there's nothing else. The headers we're adding in again, like normal. So the URI, that's what I need to do next. So this is webhooks hub. Twitch webhooks hub endpoint URI. I don't think this one ever needs any anything, but we'll just do it like that. Twitch webhook hub endpoint URI. Method post, try, var response, message, HTTP complete headers. Right, so we don't get anything back from that. So this is actually a void anyways. We're not doing anything at all. So we can kind of just end it there. Hope that it succeeds. This is kind of like a fire and forget. But I really need to reconsider taking in the iLogger on these so that I can log what's being done. So I'm going to actually do that. And let me find out what that type is. It's called an iLogger. Yep. So this logger, then I can log save what I've done. Log dot log information. Again. Log dot log information. Just want to get information about what I'm processing here. So this is Twitch name. Subscription dot Twitch name. Repeat for Twitter name. So that way I'll have some information about what I get back. User ID. Log. I need to make this work up here. So callback URI. Hub subscription, hub topic, I guess I can do this also. Just want to make sure that my generated content is correct. Um, dot log information. Topic. Topic. That way I get that. Hub mode, subscribe, hub leave seconds. Not going to double check hub secret or anything like that because we don't want that being saved to logs or anything. Body, fortunately we also cannot put that out to log because that would have the hub secret in it. Content. Get some information back on this. Log. Let's see. I want to see what's all under response. What options I have. There's like content headers is success, status code, and reason phrase. Okay. Success. Response dot is success status code. I think I'll just do these as success status code. Status code, and then reason phrase. Should be okay. So should be true 200 or 202 and then accepted rather. So that should be what we get back just in case. And then if response dot if not response, then we log an error. With request failed. I don't think you actually ever get a failed response back. I think you always get a 202 accept, but just on the off chance that it does, I'll try doing this here. Log. Just so I've got an error that shows up so I can track it down as to why. I'm going to add in here the actual name of the method. body var body equal response dot read dot, dot content dot read as string async. This should pretty much always be empty, but I'm going to try logging it anyways, just in case for whatever reason it response body. Okay. Response body. All right. So I've got some logging on that to make it a little bit more verbose. I think that that one is fleshed out and will work the way that we want it to. I need to just do I guess copy this one and just do end. All right, so we got some logging around this. So one of the things that I noticed while I was fleshing this one out is that my string content on my other method needs to be updated. To have encoding dot UTF-8 and then also the form URL, which I can never remember. Let me look up what that is right quick on the. Let's see, HTTP content type. www.form URL encode, something like that. It'll like, there we go. I think that's the default one that probably also get it off of the PowerShell content type. String content type. So set content type. If content type is not null, set it to that. String content type equal null. Yeah, application W. There, it's right there, right underneath my nose. Just want to double check, make sure that doing things right there. Uh, okay. I should probably make application JSON and those. And I think that those are actually like, that there are some helpers out there on the system.net.hdp that have those media types on them for application JSON and all that, but I care enough to dig around for those. So that's good. I'm at a decent stopping point, I think, so I'm going to take an extended break here and stream more of this later when I pick it back up. So that's all for now, and thanks for watching.